All right, cool, man.
Hey, what's going on, you guys? It's your man
What's
James,
up?
aka JP, and I'm here with Justin Console Kits as well, doing this live stream for you. By the way, your internet looks great now, so whatever you did,
Sweet.
I don't know if it fixed it or whatever. Looks like we already have a few chats in here, so starting right off the bat with a super chat from Ezekiel, the Chicago Retro Ranger. I love that name, by the way. Says, "Hey brother, nice video. You have everyone talking about the Double Dragon cabinet and Killer Instinct Pro now. Thank you for the content. We will get to all of that shortly, but it looks like we also have a few other comments in here. So about the control deck for NFL Blitz as well. We'll get to that shortly. Lewis Chambers says basically James got bombarded by questions about the two cabinets and figured this was easier than answering everyone individually, which is true because I got a ton of comments between Facebook and YouTube. So this is the easiest thing for sure. Double Dragon, day one purchase for you, Jason. HT Cuban 4, I do hope that they make the Double Dragon. You'll buy that in a heartbeat. Davila says hi, boys. And Super Dimensional says yo. So we got a lot to talk about, a lot of things to unpack. Let's start with, I guess, the biggest thing that everybody wants to know, and that's going to be Double Dragon. There's not much that I can say about that. It wasn't technically supposed to be in my video. They didn't realize Arcade1Up didn't realize that they had it out, and me filming it, I also didn't realize that it was unannounced at the moment. So it, as of right now, it's a prototype. I don't know if it's actually coming out. I don't know anything about it, and I can't really say anything else on it. So that's where we're gonna be with that. There's not really much else to say about that. And then as far as the Killer Instinct cabinet, that one I can talk a little bit about. They gave me the okay to talk about it. The only thing is that it wasn't actually a working model when I had seen it. It wasn't powered on. It was just fully built and assembled. And so as far as the gameplay, I can't speak to that. As far as the size and everything, it actually was pretty big to the point where at first glance I thought it was like a original Killer Instinct arcade cabinet, which is awesome. Um, it does have a lot of chrome. I don't know if you can pull it up. I didn't
Yeah, let
really
me look for
get
it.
shots of it at all. It has chrome molding all the way around, like this super shiny, reflective chrome. So if you're not a fan of chrome, you probably won't like it. That was one thing that did catch my eye, just like how reflective and shiny the actual cabinet itself was. But as far as dimensions and everything, it seemed pretty decently sized. Um, so I don't know if we had any other questions about those cabinets that I can really answer since I didn't get too much time with them. Obviously, the main thing was going to be the NFL Blitz cabinet. And Justin, are you planning to pick up NFL Blitz yourself?
Well, so here's the thing with NFL Blitz. I'm excited about the cabinet,
Hmm.
and it only has the 3 games. I mean, it's like if you, I'm not a huge sports fan, right? But
Right.
I have good friends that love sports, and so being able to get a cabinet like that and playing them online is something that's pulling on me, and I almost want to wait for the reviews to kind of make the decision because if it's really gonna that 49 way stick, if that
Hmm.
really changes the experience in a positive way,
Hmm.
I love technology and I may pull the trigger to buy it because I want to play with that technology and
Right.
experience it, and then also playing it online. But there's other parts about the cabinet that like I don't really care, like the artwork. Some
Right.
people complaining about that. It's like, sure, but again, it's coming from a place of like it doesn't pull on my heartstrings anyway, even if it was the original art. But I totally
Right.
get it. If it was my favorite cabinet or my favorite title
Hmm.
and it didn't have like that original artwork, I would be upset. So I kind of get how
Right.
some people feel that way.
But to I guess the cabinet's defense, that artwork didn't really hold up too well.
Mm.
The renderings on it look super dated. Something straight out of the '90s for sure. Um, So I don't mind the artwork. I think it's okay. It could have probably been better, but I think for what we got, it's decent.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Looks like we
Neat.
got some more comments here. What's the games list on Double Dragon? If you guys didn't catch the beginning of this stream, I actually can't really speak about Double Dragon because it was an accidental leak by Arcade1Up by having it out at the event, and then also by myself, showing it off in the video, not knowing that I wasn't supposed to. So unfortunately, at the moment, there's not much I can really say on Double Dragon. You guys see that it exists. If it's actually coming out and going to be sold, that's another thing. I don't know. Right now, it just seems like a prototype.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, there's not really much I can say about it. Michael G says the neutered Blitz is trash. Um, I mean, honestly, it didn't. It was fine, at least for me. The not having the late hits, like I mentioned in my video, it wasn't that big of a deal for me. The game play itself was still tons of fun, and I put at least like an hour, hour and a half into it while I was there.
Wow.
Yeah, it was tons of fun, honestly. And like that's the thing with that game, just specifically, like I remember on the Nintendo 64, I had friends over back in the day and we
Mm-hmm.
put like 8 hours straight into that game, like nonstop. So it's a really, really addicting game. And I'm not even the biggest football fan. I prefer basketball, but in terms of like video games, I actually prefer NFL Blitz to NBA Jam. For me, for some reason, it's just a lot more fun.
So, what did you think about that marquee? I see in your picture some of these newer Arcade1Ups. The marquees look really good, but I want to know if like this is it your camera that's making it look overexposed, or was it overexposed in person as
It's
well?
probably the camera, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I think it actually adjusts itself in a second, but the lighting in there wasn't really good to begin with. Just the whole place was
Okay.
very dimly lit, so just everything about the lighting didn't come out well. So it's probably the camera. Honestly, it looked pretty good. It looked, I don't know if it was just me, but it looked to be the marquee just a little bit bigger than some of the other marquees that I have seen, or
Hmm.
maybe having that big logo. I don't know if it was something like playing with my eyes, but it looks solid in
Sure.
person. The overexposed is more so the camera and the lighting in the venue.
Yeah, that's interesting. I know a lot of people are gonna ask you about the sticks and how they feel. Did you get it? I mean, you played it for about an hour or so. Did it?
Yeah,
How did it
so
feel?
I didn't notice anything negative about the sticks. They felt great to me. They felt like the original sticks did. I actually have an arcade not too far from here that for years they've had an NFL Blitz cabinet there. So I'm very familiar with playing with the NFL Blitz cab, and to me, I wouldn't say it felt like exactly a one-to-one replica of the actual arcade, but it felt pretty good. I had no issues with it. Having that 49-way joystick, it didn't necessarily like feel any different in hand, but you can notice a difference for sure while you're playing the game.
Yeah,
Alex
cool.
Gonzo, I've got some more comments here. Wish John or the team would
Hmm.
say if they're making a legacy Marvel versus Capcom 2 cab and stop playing games. He wants to create fear of missing out. Um, I mean, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is going to sell regardless, but I think it really comes down to if that original cabinet sells well, are they going to, make a pro model or a legacy model down the line? You never really know. Like NFL Blitz down the line, you may get a pro version, but it all depends how the
Right.
original one goes. So they may actually not know at the moment. Who's to say?
Yeah, that's my understanding. Is I think David McIntosh at one point said there's no plans to do
Right.
something, but that's currently. It doesn't mean they're not going to do it down the line.
Yeah.
I think the FOMO that John has put out there, like for sure, his statements are
Get
to
it if you want it.
drive. Yeah, exactly. I think what he's trying to say, because he's elaborated to me what he means by that is
Hmm.
the on Marvel vs. Capcom 2, at least, it appears as though the demand is higher than how many they plan to make this year. Do you know what I mean? So it's
I
like
mean, that
they'll
sounds
run out
about
of
right because
they
no, go ahead.
yeah, they'll likely run out of supply, and they have already a supply chain of what cabinet comes next and the cabinet that comes next. And if they go to make more, the manufacturer can only make so many cabinets, is what he
Right.
was saying. So it was like they already got like, okay, we're gonna make 5,000 or 10,000 of this next cab, and then the next cab. Those are slated, and if MVC sells out, the question is, will they bump some of the other cabinets to make more MVC? And right now there's no plan to do that.
Right.
And keep in mind, Arcade1Up is a seasonal company. These products, they go up and then they take them down. And I do a lot of deals on my channel where I talk about deals, and it's all about, look, if you want to wait, I often wait, and then I get it at a discount, but there's no guarantee. So
Right. And I think he
some
mentioned
cabinets
that,
sell.
saying that the original Marvel vs. Capcom cabinet never went on sale.
It's true. So there's some cabinets that don't, and there's some cabinets that do. Some of them you get for $75, right? And
the thing with
stay the high
Marvel
price.
vs. Capcom 2 is you have everyone in the Arcade1Up community that's going to want one, and then you also have strictly Marvel vs. Capcom 2 fans that maybe aren't invested in Arcade1Up. Now they're coming on board and they also want one. So the demand for that cabinet is just through the roof right now.
Yeah. Got a couple more
Looks
good
like we got
comments.
some more comments. Let's see what we have in here. Double Dragon looks like it was a Killer Instinct shape instead of a Legacy. Trying to remember it. It might have been Killer Instinct, or I don't know if it was the Midway shape. Honestly, I don't remember. If you can pull it up, Justin, in the video, I think I got a side profile view of it. Davila says that her little brother is happy for this new football Arcade1Up game. He loves football. He's gonna love this arcade for sure. It, like I said, it's tons of fun. I put at least like a good hour into it.
So I do agree with the analysis that the Double Dragon 2 looks like the Killer Instinct. It's what's mainly pulling to me that is the screen. See how the screen? It's a little more vertical.
Right.
And Mortal Kombat or those newer ones, there's a little bit of lean back.
Right.
Like the screen tilts back. And let me see if I can pull that up real quick. Kind of as a contrast.
While you do that, I'll just read off a few more comments here. No late hits is like not being able to hit people in Marvel vs. Capcom after you defeated them and press start. It's like not being able to hit people in Marvel vs. Capcom after you defeated them. Yeah, I mean, there's not much more to say about that. T-Wait, will Arcade1Up ship before or after other retailers? I believe Arcade1Up usually is the first one to send them out, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe you can speak on that, Justin, but I think you usually get it from them first, but I guess it all varies just on supplies.
Yeah, what I've heard is they're continuing to try to make it where Arcade1Up Direct kind of has the first one, the first to market, and that's kind of Liv, who just joined the company from Hasbro, and how they grew. Hasbro's direct to consumer sales is they gave themselves, the like, you buy from them, you're going to get it first, and then if you want to go through Best Buy, they'll it's secondary. In the past, it's kind of gone back and forth. I think Arcade1Up. I want to say Arcade1Up on Mortal Kombat, a lot of people got them really early. But the cabinet before that, it was like Best Buy was the one that came out first, and then like
I know I saw today
later,
that people who pre-ordered Blitz through Best Buy got an updated email saying that their cabinet will arrive. I think it was like September 26th. So I don't know if people are going to be getting it earlier through Best Buy. It's a possibility.
Yeah, so here is, if we want to take a look at this, so that this is the Killer Instinct.
Right.
Yeah, it kind of actually looks like it leans back. That's interesting. And then there's the design of Killer Instinct. But then in your video, I think it might be a little different, actually.
Maybe some sort of hybrid between the two.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that screen doesn't look like it leans back. I could be wrong.
But I mean, at the same time, like I said, it is, I guess, a prototype. Obviously hasn't been talked about yet, so it may not even be final design, or may not even be coming out. We just don't know.
Well, this is weird. I didn't never notice this, but this side profile of KI looks different than that side profile of KI. See where it leans back, and then this one is not leaning back. So I think Double Dragon looks like this side profile.
Could be
if you compare it, where it's not as leaning as much.
I mean, maybe that was the original design for Killer Instinct, and then they switched it out. That could be it.
It could be. Could
Looks
be.
like we got some more comments by N1R Racing. Big Bunk Hunter girls can be turned off, so late hits should have that option. It's not really up to Arcade1Up. From
Hmm.
my understanding, it's what the NFL wanted. So if that's what the NFL, they wanted to take out the late hits, it's either Arcade1Up does that and puts this cabinet out, or we just don't get NFL Blitz at all. So you kind of have to pick and choose. But as far as my understanding, it's out of Arcade1Up's hands, and it's really just what the NFL demanded in order to make this cabinet happen.
Yeah. My understanding, I agree with you. My understanding is Arcade went to the NFL and said, "We want to build this game," and they said no.
Yeah,
Like, no.
yeah,
And then, slowly over time, they were able to get enough people to say they would be a part of the program, that, the other football players, and eventually, made concessions like, well, what if we adopt and modify the game? So, well, can we do that? Well, there was even something by Cyrus that was the guy at Cyrus, he was saying the NFL Blitz 99 was almost not going to happen because they had to go find the source code. But then they
yeah,
talked to the original developer, found the source code, and he helped out on doing the modifications. And so things just kept on getting momentum. Well, if we can check that mark and that mark, then everyone will agree, yes, we can do it. And of
yeah.
course, Arcade1Up, they probably don't care about woke coach culture or anything like that. They're not trying to cover
Right.
themselves. It's just like, we want to sell cabs, right? The
Exactly.
NFL is a little bit more like, hey, this is a $1 billion industry. We got to protect ourselves.
Yeah. And I noticed in Arcade1Up's live stream when they initially were showing off NFL Blitz, you were commenting saying that it still sort of looks like there is late hits there. And I can confirm, at least right now, I don't know if they're going to go in and fine tune it. But after you tackle the player, you'll still have that animation after the fact when the player's on the ground where you will still dive towards them, but it doesn't have any actual effect on the player that's on the ground. They sort of have like some invisible wall around them, so you don't actually like have a hitbox that makes contact with them.
Hmm. I see.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Double
good to
Dragon
know.
will be coming out, just a matter of when. I hope so. I honestly didn't realize like I've played Double Dragon before, don't get me wrong, but I didn't really get all that excited about it. But I didn't realize just how many people are so excited about a Double Dragon cabinet. And I think there was rumors maybe like 6 months ago of it possibly
Mm-hmm.
happening. So hopefully it does, because the excitement I've seen for this one is I haven't seen that in a while, other than obviously like Marvel vs. Capcom 2. But before that, I mean, this excitement level seems pretty high for this one.
Yeah, it makes me wonder. I've always wondered if Arcade1Up makes these accidents or if they do it on purpose. Like, did you, James? Did they call you and be like, "Hey, come on over and film the NFL Blitz"? And then Cyrus is all like, "Make sure Double Dragon's out, so he'll film the leak." But they're not being open to you about it, or
I mean, from what
it's
I
hard to say.
heard, apparently they didn't even realize that it was out. And when I got there, I kind of thought maybe should I ask if there's anything that I like am not allowed to film, but I'm like I'm sure they would tell me if there is. So, I'm in there. I really just came primarily to film NFL Blitz, but I was like, let me do a quick tour around the place, show, because I did notice
Yeah,
that there was some cabs that weren't there from when I was there last time. So, I'm going around and I see Double Dragon. I'm like, this looks new, but maybe this is just an old one. And I've missed it before. And then I did a quick close up on those guys for you, but I was primarily there to focus on NFL Blitz, so that's why I didn't really get to deep dive into all the other ones. But I do eventually want to go back and play those and test those out for you guys, the countercades as well as whatever else that I'm allowed to.
yeah. This Tempest. I think you are the only person that has ever released any information about this Tempest, and now that we see from your video a side profile of this Tempest countercade, it looks so cool.
Yeah, and
Like
it has
this
it has a vertical
that it
screen as
has that.
well, which is it's awesome. And it might be I think that might be the
Yeah.
first counter K with the vertical screen.
Well, the earlier ones did, right? Like Galaga and stuff.
Okay, that's true.
Yeah, Galaga had a vertical screen. Pac-Man had a vertical screen. Then they switched to these where they're like two players.
Hmm.
But that's for sure the first one that has such an original box shape. Even the Joust, the Joust,
Yeah.
just that shape design that they're doing is really cool. But yeah, It's exciting about NFL Blitz. So, what did you think about? Um, this is the first four-player cabinet where the control deck has a lean to it.
Yeah, so honestly,
How
I
did that
mentioned it in
feel?
the video that to me, aesthetically, it looked amazing. I don't know why, it just looked so much better having that slight angle to it, but it also just felt more comfortable, like just on your wrist while you're resting your hands on there. So I think this might be the best four-player, even if people want to get it just to mod it, this might be the best body style to get for a four-player cabinet because, like I said, it felt great. It's comfortable aesthetically. To me, it looks really good having that slight little angle. So definitely, hands down, best four-player cabinet right now.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty
Um,
cool. It,
we
you know
got
that.
some more comments here. If the Redskins will be on Blitz, I know they were in the game, but didn't I didn't see if it was the Redskins or if they changed the name to the Commanders. That's something that hopefully if I can get my hands on one to review or when other people have their reviews out, maybe we'll be able to get a better look at that. But Arcade1Up didn't mention anything about changing the names of the teams, to my knowledge at least. I think it was mainly the late hits is really what they were focused on.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. I thought I heard Redskins was still in there. Like that wasn't removed. They
Yeah,
kept that.
because I know the original logo was still there. Because I think they even changed the logo now too. So if that original logo, it's in my video somewhere. If that was still there, I would imagine that the Redskins name is still there. That's just my thought on that.
The other thing that's exciting, if you look at you're actually looking at, you were physically there, and
Mm-hmm.
we have a good close up of the control deck.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at the buttons and the way they're placed, there's an interesting thing. Let's see if I can pull it up. So there you have the first player position.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you go to the website, there's an interesting thing on the website where, I guess it kind of, I'm going to have to switch screens. Hold on a second. It'll take a
Yeah, go
second to
ahead.
pull this up. Share the screen. I don't know. There was something about this picture when you look at just the picture, it looked like this white button was like really close to the edge. I mean, that's how I remembered it. I guess I thought that this somehow my eyes saw that this part was like just really close, but when I look at your video,
Mm-hmm.
you can kind of see a little bit closer, and I don't think it looks too bad.
No, there was
At
definitely
least not
enough
as bad as
space
I
for.
thought.
Yeah, there was definitely enough space for like button placement. I never
That
felt
might
like it
be a
was
little
too
tough
crammed
on
or
this side.
anything. Not. Hmm?
This one, the fourth player, like if your body is physically over here, then where your hands go. But if you can get your palm to rest here, then
Right.
then you're okay. And then
Yeah. I mean, I was playing on the third player spot, and I was playing against
okay.
people that were on the player one spot, and they didn't seem to have any issues. I actually lost a match to somebody who was playing on the player one slot. So,
Mm,
um, I think the button placement's good. Obviously, if you have four people in there, just like with any Arcade1Up cabinet, it is going to be a little tight, but just button placement and everything felt pretty good.
yeah,
I'm
that's
gonna
good to know.
gonna get to a couple more comments here.
Mm-hmm.
So Jason says that he's never been a Blitz fan, but the cab looks amazing and no late hits is not that big of a deal. The core gameplay is in. Light should be so much fun and have plenty of death. So yeah, like I said, this to me is the best shell of a four-player cabinet. If you're gonna get any four-player cabinet to mod it, I think, in my opinion, this is the best one. Now you are going to be missing some buttons, but it's nothing that you can't, physically add in yourself if you're good at modding. Blitz Arcade looks
I
sexy.
see.
That is
Right.
for sure. Your video showed the logo of the Redskins. So yeah, that's what I was saying. That the Redskins logo is in there. So I'm assuming that the Redskins name is in there. And P Dub says in the comments
Mm-hmm.
that yes, it is 100% confirmed that they are in the game. So there you go with that.
Yep.
And Jason says he can't wait to see online reviews for Blitz. He's interested, but his money is on Double Dragon. Hopefully,
Mm.
that comes out. The other thing that um it may not come out this year. So I did ask Arcade1Up while I was there if they had any other cabinets to announce coming up. And they did say that they have one more possibly to announce, but it's still kind of in the works and they're not sure if it's going to be announced, and Double Dragon was not a game that they mentioned that they had to announce. So, like I said, I don't know if this is some sort of prototype. Maybe they're going to do some sort of shock announcement at some point in time. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see.
You stole their thunder, man. Double Dragon was a secret. Now it's out. You're the leaker. Do you work for GameFly? No.
And it's funny because the last time that I visited them, the countercades is what like caught everybody, the Tempest and the Joust, and now I have this going on. So it seems like every time I go there, something ends up getting leaked somehow.
Yeah.
Super
that's
Dimensional
really
asked, which cabs am I getting, and will I sell any of Wave 1? So 100% for sure, I'm getting Marvel vs. Capcom 2. That is a day one purchase for me. I do want the NFL Blitz, but I'm running out of space. I only have so much space in here. So if I do end up buying Marvel vs. Capcom 2, I am selling the Marvel superheroes behind me, since essentially all those games, excluding Punisher, are in the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 cabinet. I don't think I'll ever sell Street Fighter just because it was my first cabinet. It has like sentimental value to me. And Final Fight is still such a great variety of games on that cabinet. It's very hard for me to part ways with that cab. So I don't know. If one has to go, it's definitely going to be Marvel Superheroes.
Yeah. So there's that KI.
Yeah. So you can see here all of the chrome molding I was talking about is like it's all over the place. It's super reflective. So if you're not somebody who's into that, I mean, you could, cover it up yourself if you wanted to, but that is just something that caught my eye, was how reflective it is, and then also like how big the actual cabinet is.
Yeah, I have the Golden Tee XL, which is I think similar in size, and it's
if
massive.
You go back just a little bit, I think it's there next to the NBA Jam, if I'm not mistaken.
It's big, man.
Yeah, so like I actually thought it was like the OG arcade when I took a first glance at it, but then I was like, oh, this is a Pro Series, and they are massive. Do you recall off the top of your head what the price is for them?
What is it? $5.99, $6.99? I want to say.
That's not bad.
Yeah, so this XL, they're calling it an XL because it's less expensive. It doesn't have pro parts, I guess. And then I believe the other one is going to be $9.99, the KI. It hasn't been announced yet, but everything we've heard, the number $9.99, and
they told me I'm allowed to talk about it. So obviously, I guess it's going to be coming out. They're just working on when, but obviously, I don't have any like inside information as far as price point or release date or anything like that. But since they gave me the okay to talk about it, I'm assuming it's only a matter of time before they release official information about it.
Yeah, we don't have availability. I think on another stream it was kind of like teased that they're trying to get it out by the end of the year.
Yeah, so that they told me that they were like working on it. They're just trying to see if it'll actually be possible.
Right.
Super Dimensional says I should sell Street Fighter and Final Fight and get all those games on the Yoga Flame. I mean, theoretically, yeah, that's a good idea. But I'm not a big fan of the Yoga Flame design. I really like the the Hadouken one. That's a really cool one. I love that design way more. The Yoga Flame was cool seeing it in person, but I don't know if it's something I would actually want to have here in the room. Jason says, I agree, Double Dragon 2 will look better with the full side art. So that's another thing, another reason why I wasn't entirely sure when I saw the Double Dragon cabinet, because at first glance, I was like, oh, this only looks like, half the artwork. Obviously, that's how the original cabinet looks, but I was just thinking back to like the older Wave 1 models where they had sort of that just half logo taken up the side. And that's why I was kind of like, I don't know if this is a new cabinet or this is an old cabinet. So that kind of caught me off guard. I wasn't a big fan of how it looked as far as just like having only half of the side panel covered with the artwork. But it is true to the original cabinet. 19K Fox with the super chat says, I love it when you stop at the Arcade1Up store. Did you play the Double Dragon cabinet? If so, what games were included? So I did not, because when I did the brief, overview of the store, I showed it off really quickly, but my whole focus was getting there and covering NFL Blitz. So unfortunately, I did not play Double Dragon. And if I did, I still wouldn't be able to speak about what's actually on there. unfortunately. So, I'm assuming it would be Double Dragon 1 and 2. I don't know what else they would put on there. But again, that's just my speculation, not anything actually confirmed.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's Double Dragon 1 being played. I don't know for sure. That's for sure a Double Dragon 2
Yeah, that's.
artwork,
Hmm.
which is pretty cool. And then you got two buttons, black and white. Whoa, 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 whoa.
What are
That
we?
button in the corner. Does that mean it's live? Does that mean it's online? Does that mean you can play Double Dragon online? That was what they were going for. Two buttons, kind of like a Final Fight.
Yeah.
Then you got your player buttons, and I think that corner, and that's a
I
headphone
mean,
jack.
it would make sense. It would definitely make sense, and I'm sure you'll do your deep dive into it and find their patents for the online stuff soon enough.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Like iArcade, they have the license for Double Dragon, so you could always buy the iArcade version, and they even have a Double Dragon artwork. But I don't know. There's some people have the appeal
I
of
mean,
Arcade1Up, and it's just that simple.
maybe the reason this hasn't been announced yet is because maybe there's some licensing stuff going on between like Arcade1Up having the license and iArcade having the license. So that could be it.
Yep, could be something going on there.
Got some more comments here. It says I need to go back to the headquarters and play it. I'm trying to, um, but because it hasn't been like officially announced by them, even if I do play it, I don't think they'll actually let me speak on it. At least at the moment, maybe in a couple months or something like that when they're ready, for sure.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens with that. Lewis Chambers, welcome back. I saw you were here earlier. Welcome back into the chat. Arcade1Up stream just ended. Did Arcade1Up have a stream going on at the moment?
Oh, that's right. They did. They were tonight was interview with Chris Carter. I want to say the football player.
Well, that was horrible timing on our part. But oh,
That's right. I didn't think of
I was
that.
just like, I'm home. This is the only free time I have. Let's do it.
Yeah, and you reached out. You're like, "Can you help me out?" I'm like, "Sure, sounds
Yeah.
good. Sign me up."
So, oh, another thing that I wanted to mention is that for everybody who is upset about NFL Blitz not having the late hits, another
Hmm.
option that they could have is to actually buy the NFL Blitz cabinet and then mod it with the original ROM, so that you have the late hits. The only issue with that is then you're missing out on the online features. But if you only care about local play, that is sort of a workaround if you did want to have the cabinet with the late hits in it.
Yeah, modding it's an interesting one, and then it has the 49-way stick in it. So and I have seen video of the 49-way stick, and it looks like, I mean, it looked as though it's not using proprietary technology, like like
Like
it
a generic.
probably could be generic. Yeah. I saw the pinout looked kind of like a serial data, so it could be USB in the end or something. We'll have to see how it works. And then there's also the Mystery Encoder team, which has already released soft mods for the Arcade1Up on different devices. Recently, they just released a mod for the Big Blue, which removes the input delay,
Okay.
the lag that's inherent on some of these online plays. Like they've enhanced it. So I wonder if that team would also go, because they've been talking about that team of doing hacking. They don't want to make it where you can really sideload a million games onto an Arcade1Up cabinet because they fear that could hurt the company. But they
Right.
are okay with patching it to make it better. So
Okay.
maybe they would patch it so, like you said, so you can play the original ROM. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't try to do that.
I mean, yeah, that would be pretty cool because I can tell you that for as many people that are buying NFL Blitz, there's just as many that are very passionate about having or not having the late hits on there that are refusing to buy it. Um, so I mean, if there is any workaround that people can do, I mean, it might help drive sales.
Yeah. Yeah.
Looks like we got a few more comments here. HT Cuban says, "I think Double Dragon has overtaken the NFL Blitz talk." That is the funniest thing because I made the video, to specifically showcase NFL Blitz to go over it because it was such a hot topic on Monday, and then I dropped this video on Tuesday, and everything since has just been Double Dragon. So it's kind of funny how that all works.
I think it is really interesting because what I've heard from my friends is close friends talking about Double Dragon is, I mean, it was just like you're watching the video and you're like, what the heck is that? Is that Double Dragon? And then you swing to the side and the artwork is like really cool. You're like, whoa, wait a second. This is a sharp cabinet. And everyone's mad at Arcade1Up because there was teasing that they were going to come out with it, and there was rumors that they decided not to come out with it or at least delay it because of something with our, iArcade already has it. But they were like, no, give it to me. I want it now.
Well, I mean, I'm glad that I didn't do a deep dive into it in the video because we'd all be in a very awkward situation right about now.
I don't know. Here's the thing I got to mention. Like, Arcade1Up recently, they keep on saying, they're like, because even they would ask me to be a moderator on their show. So as a moderator on their show, and even that is all like, do your thing. Don't shill for us. Don't do anything. Don't delete comments that you think are. And even I was talking to John, helping him out with that show. He was all like, well, hey, I was wondering if you can help me out with that show. And keep in mind, anytime you help me out, that doesn't mean you can't make trashy videos about us. Like, please continue doing whatever you normally do. Because I'll make videos that are like, this monitor is the worst monitor on the planet. What the hell is wrong with you with the Golden Tee edition, right? And I just want to speak my truth. Be like, I'm sorry, you guys messed up. The Golden Tee monitor's trash. But I work with them, on these projects on the side. I'm like, the two have to be separated. It's like, I'm going to be genuine to my fans and then, whatever. So I wouldn't be surprised if you like even did a deep dive. They'd be like, leave it up. It is what it is. We're not going to tell you to take down your content.
I mean, yeah, it's interesting. I gotta go over to my community tab really quickly.
Oh, wait. Super Dimensional has a really good question.
Oh yeah.
Was it a Double Dragon stool too?
I don't recall. I want to say yes, only because every cabinet had like its corresponding stool with it, but I don't remember like getting a good look at it.
I think that is a Double Dragon stool. It looks like the artwork from. I think it is. I think he's right. It's hard to tell because wait. There we go.
It might be.
It might be
because it looks kind of similar to the side art a little bit.
Yeah, you can see the art. What do you guys think, Lewis Chambers, in the chat? Hit a 1 if you think that's the stool. It looks like a stool with a back, which is their new style.
Whatever they had one in front of the Yoga Flame cabinet. I don't remember if it was a Yoga Flame themed one or I think it might have been a Pac-Man one for some reason, but I did sit in it. It was fairly comfortable. I did see a comment here asking where to go. Where'd it go? I lost the comment. It was. Oh, here we go. G-Man says, if I asked Arcade1Up the questions for my community post, or is that going to happen later? So I put up that community post, like Arcade1Up invited me out to the event literally like 2-3 hours before the event took place. So I threw that post up as quick as I could. So I don't think enough people actually replied back to me in time. Some of these comments are all from yesterday, but I'll just kind of go through them and answer them the best I can. So Bond008A asked on my community tab, what brand are the joysticks? They didn't say. I didn't ask. They felt good though. They are obviously 49 way, but they didn't mention the specific brand. Adam B says this would be better as a 2-player cabinet, not a 4. I honestly do agree. I don't think too many people actually play NFL Blitz with the full 4-player configuration. That being said, I do like the 4-player deck on here, but it would make sense as a 2-player cabinet. But I think the original, if I'm not mistaken, was a 4-player cab anyways. So it just makes sense.
Right.
Did they mention about a Pro or an XL coming down the line? They didn't. That's not to say that it won't happen. They didn't mention having the plans for it right now at this moment. And if the profanity bleeps are still in the game, um, so the event was actually really loud, if you could tell by the beginning of my video. So I couldn't actually hear the audio of the cabinet because they had everyone in there talking and then music blasting. So as
Mm,
far as any audio, I wouldn't be able to speak on that because I didn't actually hear it. And
right.
then of course, Real Talk. I don't know if you know Real Talk if he comes to your channel or not, but Real Talk has been on my channel since day one of Arcade1Up.
Mm.
Never ceases to amaze me. Always asks if it's real or fake talk. And this is a real talk cabinet, real talk. So definitely can't go wrong there.
Yeah, look at that. It's on the side. It's an interesting cab, man.
Yeah. And I love that they have Dan Marino on there. I'm a big Dan Marino fan.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for what it is, and it's funny, I don't know what agreement they came to where he's the only one on the box. I thought that was
Interesting.
interesting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But the artwork looks good, man. For it being like custom artwork, it looks pretty solid.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Um,
pretty cool.
Looks like we got a ton more comments on here. Bro, you look like Aaron Hernandez's brother. I cannot tell you how many times I hear that I look like Aaron Hernandez. That is hilarious. I hear that I look like him and Vinny from Jersey Shore. Um, my brother is asking if Double Dragon will have all three Dragon games. We have no idea, to be honest with you.
Yeah, if you were to speculate, if they got the license for 1 and 2, they get the license for 3. If
It would only make
iArcade
sense.
can do 1, 2, and 3, and they can do 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jason says this news is bigger than Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and Blitz combined.
What? Are you talking about Double Dragon?
I'm assuming that's what he's talking about. I would say it's close only because this kind of like came out of left field. Arcade1Up hasn't mentioned it, but I feel like if maybe Arcade1Up had spoke about this previously, maybe it wouldn't be as
Right.
shocking, I guess.
Are we in a?
But
Because here's my take on all of this. My I believe or I understand. I might be sticking out of line, but I think the reason why Double Dragon isn't out is because they thought it wouldn't do well because iArcade already has it.
mhm.
So the prediction is the sales would be low because why would you spend $4.99 for a cabinet with 3 games, Double Dragon 2 artwork, if you can spend a few $100s more or even get the Gen 1 iArcade Double Dragon? So what's the advantage?
Right.
And so they're like, let's just, put that on hold, you know? But
Well,
if the
hopefully,
community's flipping out and be like, we'll buy 3,000 of them, I wonder if they would sell it direct.
I mean, hopefully they see that and realize that. I don't think up until this afternoon they even knew that it was out there
Mm-hmm.
until I kind of mentioned it to them, like, "Hey, I'm getting bombarded with questions about this. Like, what do we do?" And they're like, "Just don't talk about it." So I can only talk about obviously what I showed off in my video
What's
because that's
already out,
already
yeah.
out there. But anything going forward, and it's not like I really know much because I didn't really dabble in it anyways. Like I said, I was there to primarily focus on NFL Blitz and spend as much time with that as I could to make the video.
Right. And I agree with you. I believe it is a prototype. You have a in your video, you show the Yoga Flame.
Yeah.
And the Yoga Flame that's physically in this Florida office is different than mine.
How so?
So if you look at the pictures online for the Yoga Flame, there's no Arcade1Up logo on the front of it.
Okay.
And on the one in Florida, there's also no Arcade1Up logo on the front of the Yoga Flame. But mine, that I physically have, that's a
Mhm.
actual production unit, has an Arcade1Up logo on the front.
So if you fast forward this video, maybe like 30 seconds. No, keep going. Actually, I'll tell you. Keep going right about there. Let me see. Where am I? Yeah. So pause it right there. Nope. Go back like a second.
Like we're right here.
Um, yeah, that's good.
Okay.
And then press play, and then pause it when I turn around,
Okay.
where you'll see people right there. So straight ahead, that's where NFL Blitz was. No, that's the kitchen. It's actually, yeah, right there. So that's where the NFL Blitz cabinet was, and also where Double Dragon and Killer Instinct. That's where a lot of those cabinets that you saw were
Mm-hmm.
in that room. Now, when I went to look at this store the very first time when they first opened, that room was actually blocked off,
Mm.
but it was obviously open for the event. So I'm assuming that room is where they keep sort of their like prototypes or maybe like unreleased cabinets
Oh,
or
I
something like
see.
that. Because yeah, when I went, this area was not open to the general public when I went the first time.
I see. It was a little back room that they never really originally thought people would go into. Oh, okay, so there's that Yoga Flame. And I remember looking at your video and yeah, see there's no logo on the very front of the cabinet. And I think you come back to it. Yeah, there's no logo.
Um,
So I'm just saying that's a prototype, which
mhm.
means Double Dragon's probably a prototype. They probably send prototypes to this Florida office. So right there.
Yeah, and even the Blitz cabinet that we were playing, it wasn't final product. It's still, I don't know if the cabinet's being tweaked or just the actual games itself that they'll just update via Wi-Fi is being tweaked. But they did tell me it was still kind of like a beta version.
Yeah. So no Arcade1Up logo on the front, but the model that they ship to the public has an Arcade1Up logo. And I think if we've understand before, they'll make a cabinet in about a month or 2 months before they do the real run, they'll send out a couple samples. I think they're called sample units.
Yeah,
And that's the last chance, and there's not much chance for them to make a final design change. But it
right.
can't be massive, it's just like a minor change. Because they've already like tooled it all up ready to go. They just like, okay, let's make 10 using our flow and then send them out. Sometimes they send those units as review units, and sometimes they wait for the real production unit, and the real production units go out for review.
Right. Davila is asking where this actual store is located. So it's in Miami. It's in Wynwood. I can pull up the exact address. It's kind of weird with Arcade1Up in this location because they don't really advertise it like
Mm.
at all. They don't even like store hours or anything like that. I'm not even entirely sure like when they're actually open. I think it's like Monday through Saturday, like 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. But I'm honestly not even sure. I reached up to them actually. I think it was today to find out, and I haven't got an answer back. Give me 1 second.
There's that centipede. It's a good design, but they messed up the screen. It's
That
too
seems to
bad.
be a theme with some of these.
They're fixing it now, like that NFL Blitz that you showed off. That's got the good screen on it. It's
Yeah,
nice.
I mean, it looks amazing too.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned, hands down the best visually looking Arcade1Up game, for sure that
Hmm.
they've ever made.
Wow. Yeah.
Uh, so that address for that store, I'm pulling it up right now. I wouldn't even really like call it a store. I mean, I guess technically because you could buy cabinets there, but it's 2417 North Miami Avenue. So I'm actually gonna paste that in the chat for anyone who's interested.
Very cool.
So yeah, it's in Wynwood, Miami. But like I said, I don't really know the hours for it. I think it's 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. and I think it's Monday through Saturday, if I'm not mistaken.
Very cool.
With Burger Time, Dragon's Lair, and now Double Dragon IRI Arcade officially has nothing to promote.
It's weird how you'll get that perspective. One person will be like, arcade, iArcade has nothing on Arcade1Up because Arcade1Up has Burger Time coming out with Double Dragon, right? And then what was the other one they mentioned? Um,
Um, Double Dragon, where'd it
Dragon's
go?
Lair,
Yeah, Dragon's Lair, Burger Time, and Double Dragon.
right? But another person would say, why would anyone buy Burger Time, Dragon's Lair, and Double Dragon when you can play it on one machine, the iArcade?
All right.
And
It
it's
really just comes down to like personal preference.
I think so. Like there's not a right answer. It's like for some person, the iArcade is the right answer, and for the next person, it's three Arcade1Up cabinets.
Yeah.
Right.
Red Sea Gaming says, "Real talk, ain't nobody buying that like Blitz." I'm assuming, are we talking about Double Dragon? I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's interesting. What did he? Who said that?
Red Sea Gaming. There's a couple comments up
Okay, real talk. Ain't nobody buying that like
buying that like
Blitz.
Blitz.
Oh,
Maybe I think we're talking about Double Dragon.
right. Double Dragon won't sell as well as
Yeah.
Blitz. That's
Um.
probably fair.
Yeah. But I mean, there's a ton of curiosity, or I guess, I don't know, intrigue of people wanting this Double Dragon. Like, I'm seeing way more people hype about it. Like, I made an NFL Blitz video, and people all they're talking about is Double Dragon. So I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, that's good. N1 Racing now says N1R Racing says Blitz just got tackled by Double Dragon.
Hashtag RIP Blitz. It's all about the artwork and how the cab might look. Double Dragon just elbowed Blitz to death and picked up a baseball bat and crushed Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
You guys got to be trolling.
Oh man, I don't know what's happening.
Is
I
there
really
that much?
didn't. I
Is there that
didn't.
much hype over Double Dragon?
Yeah, like I like Double Dragon. I've played it before. I like it. It's not, a like I said, a cabinet that I'm super excited about, just me
Right.
personally. But I didn't realize that there was just this much love out there for it. It's sad that obviously, I can't really talk about it. There's not much info that I can say, and for now, that's just gonna have to hold people over until something happens with
Easy
Arcade1Up.
crispy. I bet there's late hits on Double Dragon. Everyone's like, screw Blitz, screw NBC.
Man.
Like, Double Dragon is where it's at. Give me those late hits on the Double Dragon.
That's hilarious. But I mean, but I've said, not having the late hits didn't take away the fun of NFL Blitz for me. So I don't know, because the thing with the late hits, it lasts all of 1 or 2 seconds after every play. So that's like 2% of the whole gameplay.
Right. I remember playing it, and it's kind of like, I remember being young and playing Blitz, and when the late hits would come, my initial reaction is, as a teenager, was, that's a glitch in the game. It's a bug. Like, it's not supposed to do that. Why is it doing it?
I mean,
And
it's
then
fun.
it became fun, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's funny.
But again, it's not a core like mechanic of the gameplay. It's 1 to 2 seconds after every play. So if you enjoyed every other aspect of NFL Blitz other than the late hits as well, then you're gonna enjoy this cabinet. I mean, not having the late hits there sucks, but I still had tons of fun. So I don't know what to say about it. It is what it is. People are very divided about it. Some people are okay with it, like myself, and other people are gonna stand by that they need it there before they purchase it, and that's okay too. Just from my experience, I had no issues with it.
Yeah. Vote with your wallet, right? Buy it or don't buy it.
Pretty much. I really wanted one of those hats. Those hats were pretty cool. I tried to get one while I was there, but they didn't have any more left.
Oh, were they handing out the hats like at the event?
Well, they weren't handing them out, but obviously all the Arcade1Up employees had them. So I tried
Oh,
to
I
see if
see.
they had any extras laying around anywhere, but they didn't have any.
I see.
So I think we'll end the stream at 8:30. It's been a good solid hour. Justin, I appreciate you obviously for taking time out of your day to come through and help with the stream, of course.
Yeah.
Double Dragon could just sit in the corner and sing that tune all day and it wouldn't bother me. It's more like furniture, like Dragon Lair. Not even every play. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. Referring to the late hits in NFL Blitz. Yeah, you have to, have obviously the perfect timing. And you can kind of see it in the gameplay. I don't know if you can pull it up. That effect is still there. And one thing that I did notice, it did seem like the cut between like when the play ends and when the picking your next play screen comes up, it seems like they kind of got that to transition in faster to also like avoid the late hits situation as well.
Oh, I see. So they just kind of skipped that. They just
Like,
rushed in the menus.
Right. So it just seems
Oh
like
yeah.
that. At least to me, that's what it felt like. It could just be in my head, but it felt like the that play selection screen sort of popped
Mhm.
up a little bit quicker than it would to kind of take over the whole late hits animation that could be happening on screen.
I see. Huh. I wonder if that's how they pulled it off. I wonder if that's why sometimes you will see a late hit like like that. Just
Yes.
to,
So
but it's
that's the
like,
original gameplay there. Yeah.
oh, I see. I see. That was you. I see.
Yeah, so yeah, that clip was the original gameplay, and then I don't know if you just let it run, you'll see like after somebody's down, you'll see the player diving, but it just doesn't do anything. They're just diving aimlessly on the field.
I see.
Craig Anderson says the late hits are only a couple seconds after the play, but isn't each play only a couple of seconds as well? I
Right.
mean, technically, yes, that's fair. To me, I would feel like a lot of people are saying that taking out the late hits kinda destroys the game and takes away, like, the main part of the game. Just me personally, I don't personally agree with that. I feel like if they were making it instead of having 4 downs, they took out 2 of the
Oh,
downs, now
interesting.
you only have 2 downs. That would be an issue, but for just taking out something that happens after the play, you know, again, not everybody's going to agree on this, but that's just my take.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. I've been listening to a lot of different point of views on this, and I understand many of them. Scarlet Sprites did a video on it, and I thought it was really good. He was really kind of getting into depth. He's an arcade. I don't know if I want to call him an arcade purist, but let's just say that he owns many arcades and he does restorations on them. So he has sentimental value towards arcade preservation, you might
Right.
say. Um, and so we kind of he applauded Arcade1Up for their efforts towards it. He thinks it's
Mhm.
really great that they released it. Totally understands that they probably had to do it with concessions and whatnot. And the fact that they did the 49-way stick, that's really cool. Like, he's very interested in how that technology works and if they cut corners on it, or if I kind of am hoping that it's like the Star Wars yoke, where
Mhm.
what's the brand of the Star Wars yoke? Well, it's basically Arcade1Up's manufacturing team. And that's probably what it's going to be with a 49-way. Is they
Mhm.
took the $175 four-way stick, 49-way stick, and figured out a way to make them $10 each or something. So it's only like a $40 investment for each one of, for all four sticks.
Right.
But could they pull it off? Well, they did it with Star Wars. Like, the Star Wars yoke is like not a $300 yoke,
Right.
obviously, because like how could they sell it for $500 if the yoke is $300? And so if they can pull it off and still have a really good experience, that's really cool. But when
Yeah.
it comes to with the late hits, it's like that was a software choice, right? And it doesn't play well with the game preservation. It's like you're not preserving the game history
Right.
by changing it. But again, what are you going to do? Like, not release the game? Because the NFL is the one's probably not going to budge on it.
Right, and that's really what it comes down to. It was either do it this way or don't release it at all. And if they didn't release it at all, it has the same effect as the people who are refusing to buy the cabinet because not having the late hits. It has the same effect if they didn't release it. So if they didn't release
Hmm.
it, nobody would get it. And now that they are releasing it this way, the people who are upset about it still aren't purchasing the cabinet. So for them, it makes no difference. And for the
Oh,
people who want to
interesting.
get it, then we're getting it. So I don't know. It's you know how it is. Not everybody's ever going to always agree, and everyone's going to have their opinions, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Nobody's necessarily right or wrong, but if
Mm-hmm.
if it makes you happy, get the cabinet, and if it doesn't, then it is what it is, and you just have to either purchase the original cabinet or play it on the Nintendo 64, Dreamcast. I think it might have even come out on PS1 as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. No one's taking away those versions, right?
exactly. And
They still
and
exist.
or like I said, you could mod the cabinet and just put the original ROM on there, and then you still have the late hits. So, there's plenty of different options that you can go with it. But I think on that note, that's a good note to end the stream. So again, thank you for taking time out of your day to come
Yep.
join me here to help out with all the background stuff because you're way better at the streaming stuff than I am. Thank you to everybody who came through in the comments. I think this might have been one of my bigger streams for obvious reasons. Do you have anything to say before we get out?
No, it was a lot of fun. I'm a big fan of you, Toy Room, and it's kind of fun because we're like early 2018 adopters of the
Right.
Arcade1Up scene, and it's kind of fun to do these streams together.
Yeah, for
I wish
sure.
we would have done it back in the day, right? Like 2018 to start, but it's okay.
Yeah,
We're
but
making up for it now.
yeah, we're here now. So we'll definitely, this won't be the last time you see us together, whether it's here on my channel, over on your channel, or anyone
Hmm.
else's channel. So thanks again, Justin. Thank you to everybody who came through in the comments. And I think that's going to do it. So as always, guys, we'll see you next time.